I'm very afraid of death. I think about death too much.
Now, this is a real casket, right? This is what it would be like. Whew, good times.
I'm one of those pain-sensitive people that will overthink like a flu shot and be like, why did that hurt?
I would have thought they would give you more room.
They're adjustable.
It's really comfortable, I have to say.
I think that's why I write these horror movies, because I'm way too obsessed with death.
You feeling good, Leigh?
I'm a big pillow readjuster, but now I think I'm ready.
Hello, and welcome to Grave Conversations, the only show where your favorite celebrities get to lie down. I'm your host, David Dastmalchian. Today's guest is someone that we hope lives for a very, 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 very long time.
Me too.
He's a writer, a director, an actor, one of the modern masters of horror whose work completely changed the genre. He co-created the groundbreaking franchises of Saw and Insidious. He also wrote and directed the masterpiece, The Invisible Man. I don't often get nervously giddy and geeky about doing my job here, but I am that right now. So please welcome Leigh Whannell. Hi, Leigh. I'm so glad that you could join us. Thank you.
I want to have you do all my introductions from now on.
If that means I get to follow you around.
If I walk into a dinner with my in-laws, I want you to enter the room first, sit down and say all that.
I'll set up a little PA, a microphone, and yes.
Yes, so no one will see you, but they'll hear that and then I'll enter.
It's what they call it, a God mic. I'll have a
Exactly.
God mic. Are you comfortable in your brand spanking new Bone condo?
I am. It is very comfortable, I must say. I think once the lid closed, it wouldn't take long to be like, oh gosh, but with it open, I could happily, co-host this show with you for days.
Okay, now you're really, because you say these things, and then I'm like, well, that's a legally binding contract.
Yeah.
Leigh Whannell has now agreed to let me always introduce him every time I get to go to his personal home because I'm introducing him with the family.
Also restaurants, by the way, if I'm about to enter a restaurant in LA, the voice comes over the loudspeaker and says the same speech.
We're co-hosting a show together now, and he's cast me as the lead in his next movie.
I just did.
You guys heard it here, it's happening.
I just did. I have always loved your work. That's such a LA thing to say, but when I first saw you, I remember the theatre. It was the Nova Cinema in Carlton, Melbourne, Australia, where I went to see Prisoners. And when you answered the door to Jake Gyllenhaal's character and you were like, is there anything wrong with buying clothes? I was like, who is this guy?
Stop.
I need to put him in my film. Sorry, not sorry.
Enough. Stop it. Stop it. We are so thrilled you're here with us today. Let's get to it. We have a segment that we call Questions You Need to Answer Before You Die, or as cryptocurrency, your cousin tries explaining at Thanksgiving, is called Quintabit. What's it like being Australian?
It's pretty good. I love being Australian. It's like one of those countries that nobody really hates. You've got a lot of countries, especially today, that people have a lot of opinions about. Not naming any names.
Not the United States.
Not naming any names. Just saying. There's a lot of countries that people have very strong opinions about, divisive countries. Australia is like that cousin that everybody likes. Like, when Greg shows up to the barbecue, everyone's like, love Greg, great guy. It's great. It's like sunny Canada. That's Australia. I love it. I love being Australian. And I've lived in Los Angeles for 20 years, and I still have my Australian accent, and I think that deserves some sort of, not an award necessarily, like a trophy, but like a certificate or something.
Recognition.
Just recognition.
Yeah. Props.
Could be a piece of
Credit.
paper.
Yeah.
Signed by the mayor of Los Angeles. I'm not sure, but I want some recognition.
Well, I'm giving it to you right now.
That's good enough. Thank you,
And
David.
Greg, I like to use the name Greg. There's an Australian director named Greg whose work I really love, Greg McLean. He did
Wolf
a
Creek.
terrifying film called Wolf Creek, which I love.
Yes, he did. He also did the killer crocodile film,
It's a great movie.
Rogue. I know.
Oh.
Don't you think, David, would you agree that that film is underrated?
The movie is, and I don't like the term underrated because I always feel like it's a bit of a backhanded compliment. That movie's
Totally.
so fucking underrated. It's so good. It's so scary. And like animal movie, I love animal attack movies, but they're
Right.
not usually that scary to me.
Right.
That film is genuinely scary. And the
It is.
performances in it are so great. Yeah.
When an animal attack movie is done right with care, there's nothing better. And my favorite film is Jaws. So
Jaws.
that's a
I was
high
going to say,
bar.
Jaws really did it, and then everything else that followed. I mean, I'm a piranha guy for sure, but like nothing. Oh, I'm so glad you gave that a good shout out. I hope everyone watching will go and seek it out. There's an insect in your house. What do you do? Are we smashing, catching, releasing?
Okay. Because I'm from Australia, as we mentioned,
6-foot spiders.
there are spiders the size of a human hand. They look like they're angry at you. It's hard to let those spiders live because I couldn't sleep. So Australians get really good at using a flip-flop, or as we call it, a thong. Yeah. A little bit of cultural crossover humor there. We will smash those guys. A rolled up newspaper works as well. So when it comes to Australian spiders, sometimes they don't live because I could not pick one of them up and put it outside. However, if I'm in the US and I see, a fly buzzing around the kitchen, I'll open a window and see if he can escape on his own terms.
Aw.
So
Yeah,
there you go.
saying like I smashed a big hairy spider with my thong in the United States means a totally different thing.
I do have a funny story. I went to Australia many years ago with my then American girlfriend and my dad. To scare her, we went camping, and my dad, typical of my dad, he must have told her about Australian spiders and how one was going to attack her in the tent.
Oh no.
Because she couldn't sleep, and she's like, we can't sleep in here. I'm worried about the henchmen. And I was like, the what? She's like, the henchmen. I'm like, you're worried about the Sopranos? She's like, no, the henchman spider, your dad told me. I'm like, you mean the Huntsman spider? She's like, yeah, the Huntsman. And I said, my dad is doing what he does, which he's fucking with you. You will not see a Huntsman spider. So we camp successfully. The next morning we get in the car, we drive back to the city of Melbourne, park in the garage of the apartment building I was living in at the time. I open the door to my car, and there is a Huntsman spider the size of a king crab.
Wow.
Sitting in the gap between the door. My girlfriend, now wife, lets out a scream that I didn't hear it, but all the dogs started barking in the local neighborhood. Her mouth was open, but no sound was coming out, and then dogs started crying out in pain. And so I had to kill this thing, and I knew I had one chance, because if I tried to smash it with a newspaper and it crawled back into the car, she was never getting in the car again. Just as I'm about to kill it, I forget that the lights in this parking garage are on a motion sensor. So just as I'm swinging it down, the lights go out to black, and then I did a scream that dogs reacted to. It was quite the afternoon. So there's my story about Australian spiders. So everything that happened with Saw, all the success and the theatrical release, was all a bonus prize. We were like a couple of dudes who just went out for a jog one morning and ended up winning the Boston Marathon. I'm surrounded by people that I very much like, and David's asking such great questions, and it's very calming. There's something about the lying down that's very calming.
What object in your house secretly resents you the most?
My sunglasses. I once bought a pair of sunglasses, went into a bookstore, and then walked out of the bookstore and realized they were gone forever. So I owned that pair for about 11 minutes. When I put sunglasses down, they move somewhere else from where I put them. It's a bit of a bad habit, so yes.
What's a smell that instantly transports you to a very specific memory?
Popcorn. Popcorn takes me back to the sort of seminal movie experiences of my life. So I am a Gen Xer, a proud Gen Xer. So my first experiences at movie theaters were in the 80s, and I remember my mum taking my brother and I to see The Secret of Nim, The Neverending Story, and these experiences, seeing Ghostbusters in theaters. It was such a formative experience for me as a movie lover, and so the smell of popcorn to this day if I walk into the lobby of a theater and I smell it, I'm like, right back there.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Have you ever sat down too confidently in a chair that turned out to be lower than expected?
Absolutely. Many times. The recovery from that is always interesting, the thing that you have to say, like, didn't realize that.
Have you ever looked at somebody's iPhone and saw that the iMessage app has hundreds of unread text messages? And if so, how did it make you feel?
I think my eyelid probably twitched a little bit. I think that saying you have OCD has gotten way out of hand. Like the phrase, literally, it's not used correctly anymore.
I agree.
And obviously, obsessive compulsive disorder is a real disorder that affects millions of people in a very hardcore way. So I'm not going to go there and say I have OCD. However, I need those. I cannot have that number staring at me. So when I see someone else's phone like that, I'm like, how do you live like that?
Just want to clear it out.
It's like if you get into someone's car and it's super messy. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? How did you let it get like this?
I don't understand. Leigh, Saw changed horror forever. But when you were making the first one, did it feel revolutionary, or did it feel like just a couple of guys desperately trying to pull off something impossible?
Definitely the latter. Felt like a couple of guys like just making a film that would maybe go straight to video. Back then that was a goal of ours, those movies that would bypass theaters and go straight to video. That was our big goal. So everything that happened with Saw, all the success and the theatrical release was all a bonus prize. We were like a couple of dudes who just went out for a jog one morning and ended up winning the Boston Marathon. Like our goals were not to break the box office with this movie. So the reality of Saw exceeded our fantasies of Saw.
What was it actually like being in that room?
Mm-hmm. It was great. It was very quick. It was an 18-day shoot. So
oh my God, I forgot that. I knew that. That's
very
insane.
low budget movie, the first Saw movie. So we were only actually in that room for 6 days. It was so fun though. I mean, one of the best things I think about being a screenwriter is seeing a room that's only existed in your imagination suddenly be a tactile object right in front of you with walls that you can touch. It's still one of my favorite moments to this day as a director. When I first walk onto a set that's been built, it just brings tears to my eyes. It's so humbling, like, wow, a bunch of craftsmen put this room together because I wrote a few sentences on paper. So it was a great feeling the whole time. It wasn't dark or depressing or claustrophobic at all. It was like me having the time of my life.
It's incredible. You've written some incredibly stressful scenes. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that restaurant sequence, shit. What's the hardest sequence you've ever done emotionally?
It's funny, on Invisible Man, Elisabeth Moss is such an incredible actor that the really emotional scenes that I was concerned about or preparing myself for, she didn't need any help. That was her happy place. The scene where her sister's throat gets cut in this restaurant, and she gets dragged off to this psychiatric hospital. We just wanted to do that in one take and not prepare anything. So we had some real nurses who worked in a psychiatric hospital, and we had some actors, and I just said, you're gonna take Elisabeth by the arms and you're gonna drag her into this room and strap her down to the bed. She's gonna resist you, and you're going to, within reason, push back and actually strap her down the way you would strap a psychiatric patient down. And the camera was just on the cinematographer's shoulder. And it was like one take. She's just so... I remember coming into the room, she'd been screaming and crying, and she's strapped down, and I stuck my head in. I'm like, you okay? And she just like, with all this mascara running down her face, she like smiles at me. She's like, this is my happy place. So she actually enjoys it as an actor when she gets to go there. She doesn't need to spend 2 hours off in the corner psyching herself up. I think it's less interesting for her if she's just doing a cute little scene where she's chatting with someone.
Was there a location that you've always wanted to set a horror scene, but you haven't gotten to do it yet?
The Amalfi Coast. I really feel like it's been underutilized in horror films. I'd like to go there for 6 months. Surely some of those villas are haunted, right? It's like, for some people, life just gets too painful, and it seems easier to go away than to hang around. That was one of those moments that it'll be fine, doesn't always turn out like that. I started my career interviewing filmmakers, but I was such an ingrate 19-year-old that instead of enjoying it, I was like, I don't want to interview Tim Burton, I want to be Tim Burton. I was such a little shit.
We're on a roll. So let's dig 6 feet deeper. On Grave Conversations, we want to normalize conversations about death and dying. Are you ready to talk about end-of-life things?
So ready. I'm having this conversation with myself every day. Let's do it publicly.
Fantastic. This is a little segment we call Death Wish. Leigh, burial, cremation, or undeclared so your loved ones can argue about it?
Now that I'm in this casket and I'm seeing how comfortable it is, I'm starting to go with casket, but I would have said cremation before. But now I'm thinking, nope, I want to be in a nice, comfortable casket like this.
Would you attend your own funeral if you could?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I want to. It's dangerous because but you know people are only going to be saying good things. So yeah, absolutely.
We hope if you had the opportunity to attend your funeral invisibly. Is that how you would go?
Yeah, that's the preferable way.
Perfect.
Either attend invisibly and just kind of watch, or not actually be dead and as everyone's weeping, tap someone on the shoulder and be like, what's going on? Why is everyone so sad? Love to see the reaction to that prank.
Do you think people become more honest when they know they're dying?
Yes. I think that knowing you're dying would strip away a lot of the triviality of life, all the stuff we think is important, but really isn't.
You could haunt any person on earth. Who's it going to be, and how are you haunting them?
Oh, Lord. Well, there's an easy answer to this question, isn't there? I'm going to, well, let's just say there's a few politicians who need to be haunted. I think that it would be great if they were tormented by people.
Yeah, I think of many.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a lot of people who get away with things and they don't seem to be haunted or affected by it. So I would provide the literal haunting for them.
Thank you. Yeah, why do some people live with crazy consciences that rack them with all kinds of guilt, and then others just walk around just like, bah?
Exactly. Some people are able to just sleep fine no matter what they
Doesn't that just chaps my hide. If you knew you had 1 year left to live, I'm telling you, Leigh, 1 year left. What do you realistically think would change and what probably wouldn't?
I think that I would probably become much more zen and in the moment. I think that I've spent a lot of my life thinking about planning for next year, planning this. You know, as a screenwriter, you're always planning. You know, a screenplay is a promise. It's a promise for something that might happen in a year. So you're spending a lot of your life in the future. I think I might suddenly become, for the first time ever, very present focused. And what are we doing right now? And then I think what wouldn't change, I guess, is just expressing. I'm very conscious of like expressing love to people and making sure my friends feel loved and checking in with them and texting them. So I don't think that would, people wouldn't be like, this is weird, Leigh's texting me that he loves me. That would be a thing that I already do that I would continue.
Any ideas you have around grief that as you get older have changed?
Yes, I've had some recent events in my recent past where there's been some shocking, very devastating deaths of people that are close to me. And I guess what I've realized is that grief isn't linear. It doesn't look like it does in the movies. You know, you don't fall to the ground and start weeping and stay that way for 7 months. Like, I've seen people on the night they found out someone very close to them has died go from crying to laughing suddenly about, and you realize that grief doesn't look like it's been portrayed to us in media. It's very, it's a thing that follows you around, and it's there even when you're in a great mood. You know, it's still hovering behind you. So yeah.
That was a big realization for me as well. Like, oh, this doesn't just go through like there's this stage, there's this stage, there's this stage, and then you're free of it.
That whole 7 stages of grief thing is like, life's messier than that. It's weirder than that.
You get thrown into a pool, and they're all in there, but you don't know what's going to hit you when.
Oh, and it's not just from day to day. It's from moment to moment. I've seen people go from sobbing uncontrollably to laughing.
Yeah.
Suddenly laughing because somebody at the table brought up an old story. So you're exactly right. That's definitely been an eye-opener for me too.
Have you had any, and we don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but have you had any direct touches with death? And if so, how has that altered like the way you live life?
My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, he died by suicide a couple of years ago. And that was, the most shocking thing. I was actually the one who found him. And so that is one of those moments where, those moments like, I have children, so you have these moments with kids, little kids, where you'll like lose them on the beach for a second. And like, you're like, oh, where are they? And you start looking, and then 5 minutes go by and you're looking. And then once it gets to about the 15, 20 minute mark, your lizard brain kicks in, and you start panicking. You're like, where are they? Where are they? Now you're running around the beach like a madman. With my brother-in-law, that was one of those moments that it'll be fine, doesn't always turn out like that. And I would just say that, depression is a disease just like cancer. It's the same as cancer, and it kills people in the same way. And so that's, definitely altered my life. I made a film right after that. I think a few weeks after that happened, I was in pre-production on this film, Wolfman. And so that movie was just infused with all this grief and all these things that I was feeling. And the movie is what it is. I noticed it was not embraced by critics or anything, or audiences really. And that's the movie business. You win some, you lose some. But because it was attached to all this personal stuff, I thought, oh, maybe people just weren't in the mood for that. Maybe people weren't in the mood for something, or maybe it just wasn't good. I don't know, but it's definitely a kind of a diary of my life at that time.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I did not know we were going there, and that's a lot. I'm so sorry that you had that experience.
People get angry at somebody when they succeed, not when they attempt, but when they succeed, and there's all this anger. How could they do this? How could they do this to me? And as I've said to people who loved Chandler, he wasn't doing this to affect you. He was doing it because he thought that life was too painful. It's like, for some people, life just gets too painful, and it seems easier to go away than to hang around. People who are in a really, really dark hole think that they are a burden to those around them, and that taking their own life will help everybody. That's something people don't think about. And I think people who are feeling really in a dark place need to reach out to people and find out that it's never true. This lie that people who are suffering depression or trauma tell themselves, it's never true. There's always, but they feel like they are helping everyone out.
Yeah. Well, you're helping people out. And when you attend my funeral someday, I hope you will enjoy the theme, which is going to be Halloween. I want everyone to wear costumes. I want you to dress up like you're going to a Halloween party, and you can see my skull, which I'm going to have preserved. It's going to be donated as a prop to theaters and production companies that want to use it. Do you have a theme that would be fun for your funeral?
I'm going to steal yours.
Okay.
And if I die first, you can't do it anymore, because I did it. I think we should have a funeral side by side in caskets like this. I think we should wait until we can do it exactly like this with 2 caskets, and it'll be the David and Leigh funeral Halloween celebration.
Do you imagine yourself checking in on people after you're gone or just clocking out?
I'd like to think I checked in on people. It's a double-edged sword, as they say, isn't it? Like the idea of checking in on somebody and being disappointed, like watching people just move on. Would that be hurtful to be like, wait, they seem to be having a great amount of fun. Shouldn't they still be grieving?
That would be very hard.
I'd be rattling the walls, being
Not
like, guys,
trying hard enough.
it's been 5 years. You should still be really upset.
You know movies that have a colon after the title, like Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Alvin and the Chipmunks 2, The Squeakquel. We're going to fill in the blank for me. Leigh Whannell funeral,
Good luck having fun from now on.
That's my first time ever in a casket, ever. And I got to say, it was pretty fun. But you guys made it comfortable.
Thank you so much for opening up with us today.
Of course, this is fun. I mean, you know, we touched on some dark topics, like, you know, but we also had some laughs. We had good times and bad times, but you know what we did most of all? We had times.
We had times. We certainly did, didn't we?
The winner today was friendship.
Let's return to the world of living for a moment. This is the segment that we call Living for This. Now, in Living for This, we want to know, Leigh, what are you working on? It could be professional, it could be personal, it could be spiritual, that is making you feel alive.
Oh, that's great. Okay, am I allowed to say two things?
You can say as many things as you want. You are Leigh Whannell.
Well, thank you. So, okay, two things. One is my son. I have 3 kids. My son, he was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD a few years ago. And as we know, dyslexia is just a learning difference. It's not a death sentence for anyone's future. But I've been working on him recently, really getting him the right help that he needs and the right attention that he needs. So that's been really gratifying to help him out and see him improving. And simultaneously, I've been working on a script. I like to write my own films to direct, as opposed to look for scripts that have already been written. And I'm always looking for this spark. You know, you can lie to everyone else, but you can't lie to yourself. So whenever I'm writing something and I'm not quite into it, I always know, I'm like, oh God. It has to be, when it's keeping you awake at night, that's when you know. Like, it's like being in love. You know, you can't tell yourself you're in love. You're either in love or you're not.
Yep.
And I just recently started working on a script that I'm very excited about, and I can feel that feeling again, and it's a good feeling. So there's 2 things.
That's really exciting. I can't wait to be in it. I mean, I can't wait to read it. Leigh, we would like to ask you to do us a favor, please.
Anything.
Okay. Before we memorialize this interview, we'd like for you to please give your own eulogy. You see how I emphasize the you part? It's kind of charming.
Okay.
It's a little bit.
My own eulogy. Okay.
Anyway, when I say die, you'll have 60 seconds to give yourself your own eulogy. You can be serious or not serious, but look, what's most important is that it's honest and extremely clippable for socials. Ready?
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, die.
Is it possible to be humble and brilliant? Is it possible to be gorgeous and a man of the people? Is it possible to be insanely creative, but also a real collaborator with people? Yes, it is. The answer lies in this casket in front of us today. Leigh Whannell, as he was called by every substitute teacher, was a man that really cared about people. He really did. He genuinely cared, and we have the text in his phone to prove it. He wanted people that he loved to know that he loved them. And so now that he's gone, that love will not stop. He'll still be loving you, and he'll still be brilliant, as proven by your 4K Leigh Whannell collection that goes on sale on Amazon tomorrow and includes Upgrade, Invisible Man, and those other projects he did after Wolfman, which is not included in the collection, due to the New York Times calling it not scary at all. Please join hands and let's all sing Leigh's favorite song, Battery by Metallica.
Legal, can we please get the rights to Battery by Metallica? This has been a revelation. I appreciate you so much. Well, here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
I can't believe it. UFC fight on the White House lawn.
What's it called again? Grave.
Conversation.
Damn it, Grave. I was about to say Grave Solutions.
Going in the show.
Yeah, exactly. Grave Solutions. What the hell would that be? That's the name of a funeral company.